we? Hope you're well. Sorry for the long intro today. I had to do something just quickly before we jumped in. Leave a like, comment, let me know what you think. I've not got much planned today. We are just going to talk and speculate about the technicals, about the fundamentals, the FOMC, what could happen today. But yeah, hope everyone is well. Hope you're enjoying the live streams. Let me know where you're from. Let me know all kinds of stuff. And let me know what you think about the market currently, right now. It could get fun for obvious reasons. But I think it's priced in a little bit. I think what has happened realistically with December and Jerome Powell going, I think we're going to do less rate cuts. Funny enough, probably spooked the market into certain things, and that has led us to believe where we are today. Therefore, maybe whatever happens today is probably going to be fun anyways, regardless. So unless we get a rate hike, I think we'll be all right. Imagine if that happens. Oh my God, it wouldn't happen. I think we're going to go for a pause. We'll look at the data, we'll look at the information, and we'll go from there. So yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to the live stream. A lot of people thinking dump already. The vote, however, there's a poll at the top. Currently 69%. Whee! Currently thinking pump. But yeah, it might well be within that realm of, oh my God, we're probably already priced in. Why are we overreacting to the certain things in the news? The news is very sketchy at the minute in terms of like overreaction, underreaction, whatever. It's a bit mad, really. Anyways, does my screen work? It does. I've also moved some of my stuff around so it looks a bit neater and tidier on my live stream. Hiya. Right. So, news. Let's get into the news, firstly, because why not? Also, leave a like on the video, please. It makes a massive difference to the algorithm. Let's get things up and running and dancing. Let's dominate these live streams. Now, Jerome Powell, Federal Reserve decision. The decision is probably not going to be the thing that moves the market. It'll be what he says. So if Jerome Powell comes out with some sort of like, oh my God, nuclear Armageddon and is really hawkish, that is probably where the market will do something. Might have changed. He's maybe talked to Donald Trump. Remember, there's also a comment in the chat. He was elected by Donald Trump. He is coming to the end of his contract, though, so he won't be around for much longer. There will be changes. There's also earnings. Microsoft, Tesla, Meta, for example. You've also got Apple earnings tomorrow, not to mention ECB rate decision hike tomorrow. So it's a bit of a sketchy week this week, right? As always, if you're not yet done so, subscribe. We are starting to get up the numbers now. Finally, I think we're off the bottom. Our channel's going to grow again. Hopefully, it's been a rough month. Let's just be honest. However, in terms of everything, FOMC, January 1 is always an important one. It's the start of the new year, set off on the right foot. And there's a couple more to come in the future, but ultimately there's a bit of a break in quite a few of these. So there's only so many a year, right? However, let's talk about where we think we could be going. The Federal Reserve at the top here, as you can see, is widely expected to basically stick today. No rate cut, potential pause. So that is where we kind of are right now in terms of the overall kind of situation. That could be very, very fun to see where we do end up with that for obvious reasons. So I don't want to scare people, but yeah, it's certainly a possibility in terms of a rate cut in the future, not today. So be mindful. Pausing, it's consecutive. Well, we've had 3 consecutive reductions in 2024. Obviously, as I say, in December, it came out, the base rate was going to be 4 rate cuts over the course of this year, but it's now gone down to 2. So the consensus is we're probably going to stick. In terms of the forecast, this is kind of where we're at. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see how long we actually stick for. The forecast is very interesting, down to 4% only by the end of the year. So that's not really that good, is it? Donald Trump has came out and said that he would like interest rates lower. That will stimulate borrowing. That will stimulate potential things in the market, and things will then go very, very interesting. What does it mean for inflation? Well, inflation is very, very sticky and actually become unstuck and starting to go the other way now. So that could be a problem. I don't know where the base case rate, where the base case for this they want to be now, because they have always said they always want to go down to 2%. I think 2% is going to be very, very hard to achieve. Whether that changes or not, I don't bloody know. But there will be volatility. There will be a lot of information that's going to get thrown at us. So we have to be very, very mindful. If the stream is laggy, I think YouTube is still having a little bit of a problem with certain things, which is a bit unfortunate. For some, I don't know why. All of a sudden, the live stream kind of servers are just a bit buggy. Don't know why. Might be all right. Just depends. We'll see. Maybe they need to pay more for the servers. But anyways, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. As I say, there's not lots really to go on today. We're going to be looking at technicals more than anything in terms of potential reaction. For me, though, what is interesting, the core inflation rate is okay-ish. This needs to remain steady and we might be all right. Inflation, though, obviously, we're in winter. There's going to be higher energy costs. All that kind of stuff will make a big factor. But as I say here, the plan is to stick. Don't know if the market's going to like that or not. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. If you've not yet done so, subscribe. If you haven't yet done so, you'll be able to chat if you do, which will always help the situation. In terms of the ETFs yesterday, I think it's very, very important to note that it is very much close to FOMC day. Yeah, nothing really happened with the ETFs at all yesterday. We were actually net positive but no real big volume coming through. And I think that is just testament to where we are currently in the market, which kind of somewhat makes sense, let's be honest. But yeah, we'll go from there, realistically. What I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the world of Bitcoin, see what is happening, because I think things are going to get very interesting. I've also made this a little bit neater for people to actually see prices, because someone was whinging in my Discord the other day. If you want to jump in, there's a discount on Patreon. Also, learning cryptos, very, very affordable and more educational. Right, TA, simples. We have got a pending potential hidden bullish divergence on the indicator that I use here. This indicator, by the way, if you're wondering, is on Learning Crypto. It's on the Traders Lounge. It's a really, really good one. It's great for divergences. It's great for overall momentum. And what this is signifying, essentially, in an absolute nutshell, is the fact that we have trend continuation. Now, I don't like talking about trend continuations right upon FOMC because we are literally in the hands of where the market could take us. So obviously we have created a new high and changed character. We obviously deviated below it and caught some liquidity on that little bit of a scary little deep sea kind of discovery mission. But are we going to go and retest this range high? If the fear is already priced in and everything's tickety-boo and whatever Jerome Powell says is okay, we might be absolutely totally fine. Where do we go from there, though, is another story, because we need to break this all-time high and we need to look at some of these extension levels, in my opinion. Whether that is an obvious break and we're going into February, wherever, and we're into the bullish kind of zone, which is possibility, by the way, things could get very, very interesting in terms of where we go next in terms of the market cycle narrative. As you know, in terms of the market cycle situation, we're just before the ramp up. I don't want to kind of make people believe a certain idea, but I like to look at this idea and think, you know what, there's quite a lot of confluences between good things and bad things, but ultimately more good. As I said before in previous videos, if you look at the past performances of, Q1 in previous years, they've been very, very good. Do we repeat that? I bloody well hope so, in my opinion. It'll be nice if we do. But we've got new administration, we've got rate cuts to consider, and other bits and pieces which could spook the market. In terms of other things that are not doing very well right now, obviously Ethereum, as we know. We've talked about this many times. And this is kind of where we are in terms of a weekly time frame, and I don't like the look of it at all. It needs to show some sign of level of support in and around here. It kind of is, but it's not enough to kind of give me some kind of hopium yet. But yeah, it needs to go off this pad and start making its merry way up. Whether it does or not, I don't know. In terms of the confluence of that, you can see why I'm not that optimistic. And as you can see here, very, very weak bounces into resistance. It's not looking great. And everything below this point has been an absolute fucking bloodbath. Problem with Ethereum is it's not getting any sunlight. In terms of dominance of BTC, it is curtling towards new levels of highs of this cycle. Consider altcoin positions, look at see where the dips are, look what's good, look what's potentially buying. But it's not looking good, bruv. Put it that way. In terms of the other slash BTC as well, you can see we're probably gonna make new lows. That's not looking great at all. Obviously, the total 3 slash BTC is still in and around this area. It's just not looking great at the minute. So we need a little bit of a spike to the upside. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But yeah, let me know your comments and queries and questions and whatever you want to know about, because I think it's going to be very, very interesting. I think we need something to get hold of this kind of market in terms of rate cuts and understanding where we're going to go next, because it feels a bit wishy-washy at the minute. We've had, obviously, as I've said before, we've had the idea of 4 rate cuts over the course of the year, but then going down to 2 is a very, very big difference. So that's a problem that needs addressed. And if that changes, who knows? We'll see where things go from here. If not yet done so, like the video, please. It makes a biggie difference. Only 17 people liking. Let's get over 100 likes. Just hit the like button. Come on, it takes you 2 seconds. Just do it. Jack, well, loving the live stream. Could be volatile as always with FOMC. However, double up on recent dip. Pretty happy with my position to still have some cash on the sidelines for more dips. I think there's some really good opportunities for some really good orders, but it just depends on what you want to buy. That's the thing. It's like there's situations around. So I think some of the tech stocks, no, like they're not worth it. Some of the crypto assets in terms of decent solid altcoins are good. I mean, I look at Ethereum, and I know it's like I've just like said about how bad Ethereum looks, but do we write off Ethereum? Like, surely not. I mean, I know it's horrible. It's absolutely disgusting. It looks horrendous. I know that, but it looks like it's the most obvious hated rally, doesn't it? When you think about it, right? And again, when we talk about what other things have done well recently, obviously XRP. XRP was the most hated thing in the world, but now it's the most loved thing in the world. Now they're fighting with everyone again. It's great. Ethereum could be the exact same. Chips are down at the minute, may well pop. In terms of other altcoins in USD pairs, some of them are majorly undervalued still, and there's some good solid assets that could do well. But as I said before in previous videos, you've got to be very, very selective. You've got to pick. I think you've got to go with the obvious now, not the kind of the outlier. You need to go for the obvious, and I think some of the obviouses will probably do very, very well. It just depends on how far you want to go. But obviously, remember hype and momentum. Like, for example, this right, Sui. Amazing amount of hype recently, but when you look at the BTC pair, it's not looking great at all. It's really is starting to correct. So you've got to be very, very mindful of where this goes. If this starts correcting quite heavily, just be mindful that the hype may have died off a little bit. So don't catch tops. Obviously, I've mentioned before the hype of people and ultimately likes of Solana and potential things around Solana could be fantastic. And yeah, narratives that could happen too. So it's going to be quite hard to navigate, I think, this cycle, personally, in terms of altcoins. I think there's far too much competition. There's far too much liquidity in Bitcoin that's kind of somewhat stuck. But yeah, could be fun. Other things, obviously, you can look at, obviously, as I mentioned before, the S&P 500. The dollar could be interesting to watch today. Obviously, it has nosedived quite a lot over the last, week or so. But bouncing, if we get somewhat decent comments from Jerome Powell, it might well nuke itself, which might be quite nice, but we'll see where things go from there. Could be pretty disgusting, realistically, to see where we go. I'm thinking no cuts till March. Yeah, I've got a feeling it's going to be no cuts for a while. Certainly when I look at it. Certainly when you look at the plot. The plot is interesting because when we look at it, bear with me. Where are we? There we go. So if we're looking at this has got it to about June, which kind of makes sense because if we're not going to cut today, and we might not cut in March, it'll be May. And if Jerome Powell's already said we're going to be looking to do 2 based off data, now the data might change, obviously. So, or people in someone's ear might have changed the guard a little bit, i.e. Donald Trump. If we cut today, I think the market will pump a lot because I think people won't be expecting it. I think it's unlikely though. What's interesting is the summer. What's going to happen over the course of the summer? If there's only going to be 2 rate cuts in this whole entire year, which is not a lot by the way, it could get very interesting to see where we go. So I don't know what they want to get down to. That's the thing. And the data is only what we've got so far. So if we're going to go down from 4.5 down to 4, it's 2 0.25s. That's not a lot, is it? When you think about the grand scheme of things. But that's where we are right now. That's currently where we are. And the Fed model here, it says, is projected to be around 3.5 in 2026. It's not a lot, is it? That really isn't a lot. And when we look at the past, and obviously we go back in time here, obviously where we were in the past, obviously like interest rates were on the arse. But even before certain events, and I'm not going to mention it, you know the event, things have obviously changed. But when we look at life and we think, well, is 4% still high? Is 3% still high? You know, there's got to be some sort of like balance. And you think about mortgage repayments and credit cards and loans, whatever. It's much harder to achieve. And then we talk about investing in the market, don't we? Like, oh, people don't have money. And let me know what your comments are, because I don't fully agree with the people are hard up as much as they led to believe. I still think there's people out there that have no money, but they will still happily buy an iPhone, or they'll buy new shoes, or you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people, or they will look at investment opportunities on, say, Slingshot, or what's it on Moonshot, or Robinhood, whatever, right? Whatever's really easy, quick, and simple to get to a meme coin, for example. They'll still do it because it's that greed mentality in people's brains, right? So I still think there's a lot of that where it doesn't matter as much, but low interest rates would help massively because it would just free up money. But I don't want to get to the situation, and let me know again if you disagree or agree, where something breaks and we've got to do quantitative easing. That's where we have genuine problems. We don't want to have that, in my opinion. So we'll see where things go. Hello, Reggie. I'd like to find a handful of alts that can actually sustain a decent run. Everything's been getting destroyed by BTC. Outperforming the way I massively outperformed. Yeah, that's a problem. We've got this little situation in the market, and I don't like it. Where, let's just talk about Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin will do something. So even if in this time range here, which isn't a lot in terms of time, when we think about this from mid-November to now, we've had little retest of all-time high, and every single like 2% dippy day, we get hurt massively. So you think, oh, sweet, we're doing all right. And then Bitcoin sneezes, and then the entire altcoin just roll down the hill. It's like, why? Why has that happened? And obviously we know why. Bitcoin dominance is powerful. And it's like that event of altcoin capitulation where the liquidity isn't there. When it moves out, it gets brutalized. It gets battered. So we're seeing some really top assets above my head here. I know you probably can't. Yeah, you can probably see it now. That are really good in situations, but the BTC pairs are just down, 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 down. So yeah, as I said before in previous videos, if XRP didn't pump and XLM didn't pump, this would be in the moon. This would be much higher. But yeah, it's certainly very interesting. So we need to be very, very, very mindful of it. 64% of people think pump currently, 36% think dump. What do you think of CleanSpark can mine BTC? I don't think they can mine BTC for 30k. No way. I think some of the HPC ones will or could potentially, but 30k would be mental. That's probably, yeah, I think that's a bit over ambitious. We'll see on the earnings. BTC.D is at a support level buy. Ooh, maybe. I mean, how low can this go? Can we just put into context that we are literally at pretty much coronavirus levels here? That is 2020 levels. I mean, is this the reason why altcoins just doing so bad? Is that it? Is it just that? Or is everything up Solana? But even Solana, right? Let's talk about Solana. Solana is still here. Since when? Since when Bitcoin started moving, let's be honest, in December 2023, Bitcoin did start ramping. In that time period of 406 days, the dominance of Solana is only up 0.3%. So that's interesting. So is Solana just, is Solana just majorly undervalued? Ooh, I've put you into a tricky spot now, haven't I? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Solana is only 3.3% of this market. And it feels like there's more. There should be more. But in terms of price, maybe not. It's crazy that. There's a statistic for you to scare people. Sorry. But yeah, let's see where we go from here. Let's be honest. Rate pause is pricing now. I agree. I think what did it was in December. I think December the writing was on the wall. It was like, oh, we're going to go from 2 to what? No, 4 to 2. That kind of cancelled the Santa rally and the Christmas rally and all that kind of stuff. But hey, it is just the way it is right now. Howdy. Hello. Welcome from central London. It's a bit busy London these days. What else have we got? With the new administration office, I think there could be some new surprises. Trump trends to be more influential and control. I think yes, but I also don't think on the first one, personally. I don't think on the first one. I think there's still a lot of things that need to be sorted out. I think he needs to get his feet under the table properly. He's only been what? It's only been a week. So I can't imagine him going in and pulling power and go, you know what, mate, we should be trying to get this interest rate a little bit lower. But it depends on the data. At the end of the day, let's be honest here. Trump is not an idiot. He knows how to pull strings and stuff like that. So we'll see where it goes, but it may well be influential longer term. And yeah. Thoughts on VeChain, decent. Personally, not going to buy it myself, but when the retail come, it's Chinese. Remember, a lot of people do buy it. It's just one of those things. It tends to do well every single cycle. But we'll see. Phil's saying Clean Spark is mining around 66k currently. Yeah, I think it is about that. I think Riot, Mara, Clear Spark, and all that kind of stuff. Clean Spark, sorry, are roughly the same sort of ballish park, which isn't bad. I mean, I do hold it, to be fair. Hit that like button. Yes, Johnny. Get them told. We need to get a ton of likes. Let's go for it. FOMC time in the UK would be, I think it's 6 o'clock, 6 or 7 o'clock, I think. Let me just triple check that one because I could be wrong. 7 p.m. GMT, so 7 o'clock tonight. Obviously, the clocks will navigate that sometimes because sometimes when the clocks are different, it's like 6 or 7, which is really irritating. It can fluctuate at certain points in the year. But yeah, things are looking okay in terms of data. I think what is interesting is obviously non-farm payroll, certainly in America, is indicating that things are actually pretty strong in the labor market, which is probably why they're revising certain things. Obviously, you can see here they've added 256k jobs in December, the most in 9 months, following like it's been really, really solid. But that's interesting to know where we could go from here. Obviously, figures continue a strong and stable labor market. So don't have to throw the baby out the bathwater just yet, do they? That's the biggest thing. But ultimately, yeah, we'll see where it goes. We don't know what's going to happen. People may well panic. Don't know what else is happening. Should really look more at this, to be honest with you. I just don't. But yeah, there's a lot of data. It's a data heavy week this week. Very, very big data week. Very big. What else have we got in the chat? If also reverse BTC in February or March is an overall season this time around, I think they will, as Ethereum and Ethereum coins on floor have to move at some stage. They've got to do something. I mentioned it in like one of the lives not too long ago about when something catches a bid, and when they do go, they really go, like massively go. And that's what's interesting about like some of these BTC pairs. I mean, obviously Doge is a bad example, but Polkadot, for example, right? A bit of news comes out, catches a bid, flies. Chainlink, probably another situation, similar sort of vibe. Big asset, big interest, la 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 la. Couple of billions into it, all of a sudden, when it's been drained, there'll be some gaps up here. There'll be a lot of people caught napping, and they will hurtle. The problem is how many do it. How much liquidity goes from Bitcoin, for example, or other ecosystems into crypto? We do not know. That is the ultimate guessing game that we have. And as much as every YouTuber on the planet is going screaming alt season right now, we've got to look at where we are currently in the market, and it's nowhere near. That's the problem because the volume's low. $111 billion volume is not enough to go around, considering 42 billion is currently in Bitcoin right now, and obviously the stable currencies right now. So there's an interesting point and an interesting dilemma. And I know people are like, oh, it's so bearish. But stable currency dominance, I'm wanting this to happen. This little black line here, I want this to continue the downtrend, which would indicate, realistically, let's be honest, let's talk about this bit, that reality is we want this to go down because more and more stable currency dominance in terms of that would indicate more money's in the market, but it hasn't done it yet. And that's where we are right now. And in prior bullish cycles, you can see here how it melted massively, obviously where it went in terms of the bear market and where we could be going. We could be going a lot lower, but whether we do or not, I don't know. That's the big question that we do not have the answer to yet. But yeah, how much volume is going to go into altcoins. And, a couple of these altcoins here, and obviously the BTC pairs as well, going from like, say, 20 million, 30, 50 million volume on daily averages up to a billion very quickly, it will create a bit of panic. And people will flap and they'll start getting FOMO and it will start kicking off. But how long do we go for? I don't know. That's the question. But we'll see where it is. The problem with the market right now is not having expected crazy alt season. Yeah, that's a thing. There's too many altcoins. Yeah, people disagree with me on that though, and I've said it a few times, and people literally comment and go, "There's more. There's not." The people are like, "There's not enough altcoin." I'm like, it doesn't make sense because when you look at 2021, there was a lot of altcoins, but there's a lot more altcoins now, and they're also fully diluted. So those new ones that came out in 2021, they're now fully diluted. It's like, oh. So Solana, for example, Near Protocol, for example, you could argue the likes of ICP, probably AVAX, a couple off the top of my head. Obviously, Polkadot had an 18% inflation over a course of 3 years. That's a lot of tokens coming out. So where does it go? Well, more tokens you got, the harder it is to move, technically, realistically, when you think about it, because there's more tokens out. This is why scarcity is a massive model. Problem we have is there's not enough liquidity for the amount of tokens, and it's kind of simple supply and demand, isn't it? But yeah, feel free if you disagree. But not everything's going to pump this cycle. It's not going to be like the last cycle. 100% no. When the hell does retail come back? Good question. My opinion on retail is Bitcoin flies, and the perceived value of USD coins and interest in the market will get people's phones buzzing and they'll come back. It's happened before with XRP. It's happened before in January last year. It's about that steamroll. But the problem is every single time we've had that little bit of momentum, it's just died very quickly, hasn't it? Let's be honest. It's just like, something happened and it was just, or everything went into Bitcoin and stayed in Bitcoin. So yeah. Hey Ash, what do you think about the Bank of Japan's current interest rate? The last time it happened was February 2007. I was back in school then. Christ. It's interesting because I've always got a little bit of an eye on the Bank of Japan because when you think about how their economy is run, it's very different, by the way. Very, 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 very different. If you're wondering. Uh, Hold on, where am I going here? I'm going the wrong way. Let's go to interest rates, and I think this is now. I'm not going to be the first to admit, but I'm definitely not an economist. I can even say the word. They've done fuck all for donkeys, years for inflation or for interest rates. Sorry. So now, you got all these, the Japanese minus 0. That's what's mad. It's like they were paying you. That word. Now it's at 0.5. So that's huge. When you think about mortgages, but just one element, right? The amount of interest difference that would be on a person is pretty big in percentage terms. It's huge. Same in the UK, right? Remember, in the UK, we're all getting like 1-2% interest rates. We're like, yes. And then it's like 5. It's like, oh my God. It's like literally your mortgage is nearly doubling overnight. It's like, fuck. So this could be interesting where we go from here. Now, as I said, I'm not the biggest clued up in Japan, but realistically, they've got to do something. And there's potential elements that could break over in Japan, which is going to be a bit of a problem. Where's the bloody thing gone? It's a really good website, this, by the way, if you're interested. I just can't navigate the fucking thing. Where are we at? Japan. So Japan's inflation rate, they're going, this is too high, which technically, yeah. It's mad when you think about it because they were chilling for ages. It was happy days. It was all tickety boo. And obviously in the past there's been huge problems. We probably know why. But now they're trying to curb this bit of inflation that they've got, and people are stuck in their ways. And you've got to remember it's a very aging population, Japan. So that could create problems too. It's mad. So yeah, we'll see if anything, because remember in August, I'm pretty sure it was August, something totally broke for like a day or two. It's like, oh God, that created a very, very, very big problem. I don't want Japan to be the problem, realistically. I want it to be the solution. Thank you. I just watched a crypto documentary, The Financial System, Trump and Crypto. The greatest show on earth. I shall have to have a little look at it. What's that? The very limited opportunity to spend money in 2021. That's why we got a crazy bull run. Then everyone just had hands. Yeah, the sentiment was very different. Certainly for me as a business owner, as a YouTube channel, whatever, everyone was bored and everyone wanted to jump on things and people made these little lovely TikToks and everything went a bit berserk. It's a different time. But also 2017 is a different time as well. I think, my personal opinion, we're going to get niche bull markets. We're going to get 2017 sort of vibe, hype in certain ecosystems where things will just pop off, but not the entire market. That's where I think it'll be probably very different. Does that gaming share make way for a kiddie bouncer? No, definitely not. 100% not, Tony. That is the racing sim, and it will remain a racing sim. I might just have to put it in one big bubble so it doesn't get spat on or drawn on or whatever, because that could be fun. Luckily, got a few years before I started running around like an idiot. I think the definition of retail needs to be expanded into the more, mature ages of crypto. I 100% agree. I think the reality is here, and people don't want to admit it, we are getting more and more like the stock market. We have to look at the news. Like 5 years ago, I was not covering FOMC. I was not looking at inflation data. I was looking at what altcoin updated their website first. I was looking on CoinMarketCap to see what was coming, what the rumors were. And you just bought the rumors and they went fucking berserk. Now it's not the same. And don't get me wrong, I'm older now. I've got a family, got a bigger house over my head. I don't want to be in the trenches all the time, let's be fair. But when we look at stuff like this, the ETF, I know, it's going to stabilize things and create wealth. Now, one of the biggest questions, and I've said it before, you probably remember, people are probably attached to their Bitcoin right now. If you've been in crypto 5 years and you held Bitcoin, what have you got to worry about? Bitcoin's the best performing asset on the planet currently, still. And it has been for a long, long time. So stuff like that changes the narrative. And you've got retail people trying to make money in altcoins, but if they're failing, then they're not coming back because, like, what's the point? I say to people, why not invest in the stock market and get used to the idea of investing, understand that money does go up and down. Then start diversifying with profit into crypto and trying to make more money. Or just buy Bitcoin, buy maybe Solana, buy a couple of other solid things and go from there. But people just don't like that advice and they go, well, I want to buy the next chill guy. I want to buy the next fucking whatever. Doesn't work, does it? Because they've already been rinsed massively. And obviously there's a lot of liquidity in those meme coins that will dump on you. If you've only got $5 to play with, you're not going to stand a chance with the slippage either. So yeah, it's different game ball, which is fine if you like to trade or if you like to play the game in a different way. It's not the same though. 2029 bull run is probably going to be only 5 to 10 tokens. I mean, Gareth, you've got a point. But what if, this is another what if. What if, like, yeah, there may be 5, 10, 15, 20 tokens, but what about if they're on real world terms? As in, everyone is using, say, random example, not financial advice, Chainlink. I'm not interested in Chainlink, but I'm just going to say it. So let's just imagine, right? Chainlink then rivals Oracle. For example, this is just a random example. And they're not investors that are like buying it. It's just people are using it. It's creating that more scarcity and that more utility of the token. We could be looking now, right? And fair play. If we want to clip this in 5, 10 years, we can. But what if certain altcoins just become mainstream in the world of blockchain technology and they become good in their own right? They were built 10 years prior and then now they're finally getting used. That could be the ultimate end game for altcoins. But can you hold for that long? Can you handle the pain of just holding it and hoping it goes up, whereas it's getting smashed by Bitcoin? Well, probably not. That's where we are right now. We could be going into that realm of like, oh my God, that's totally changed. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So yeah, it could be very, very interesting. I agree with that as well. Going to be BTC in niche bull markets. Yeah, I agree. I think you got to look at the niches. Like, look at what's already happened. Look at AI agents. Look at certain meme coins, which is mad in itself. You know, obviously Bitcoin ecosystem, huge in its moments at the minute. It could be getting even bigger and better in the future as things develop. It's only just starting, really. And other bits and pieces that could just blow up. It's mad. ISO tokens as well. The answer was all along XRP. Joking. We just don't know, do we? That's the thing. With all the institutional TradFi players coming in and always seeing professional, high net worth individuals going to the market, I think the fundamental analysis will be very viable. Yeah. I think scarcity, I think supply and demand, I think overall product will be key. But the thing is, how many things have a really genuinely good product? I don't know if there is. I don't think there's not many assets you look at and you go, that's an amazing product. I'm going to use you. There's not, is there? Let's be honest. Solana's an obvious one. Obviously, Ethereum's an obvious one. Obviously, Bitcoin in terms of what it is. But then after that, you start to struggle in terms of what is a fully fledged product that anyone can use. XRP, banks, yeah, cool, easy, simple. As I say, what else is there? It's all speculation, which makes it fun. If anyone is interested in genuinely learning about crypto or ultimately in my Patreon, there's links below to certain things. Extra videos from me, a really good alpha community. My Patreon is very Bitcoin led though, so just be warned, you will get turned into like, oh my god, that makes sense. Wow, why have I not thought about that before? It's some good people in there. 10 coin 29 is a bit of an exaggeration, maybe. Imagine, be nice, wouldn't it? Does the market play this out of what? I can't read. Does the market play it this way? More cycles, great amount of fear. Than yes, it does. The thing is, and I mentioned it in the last live, well, one of the last live streams I did recently. The market did things a little bit different last cycle because actually, when it bottomed in terms of the bear market, we actually carried on. We did bottom eventually, but in terms of time frames, it was very, very different. And you'll see this, you'll kind of see this. It's not perfect, but if we're looking from that point there to 581 days, right, from where that kind of decided to die, pretty much, right, in terms of when it ended. When we're talking about this, in terms of when the dominance started to fall here, it's similar sort of vibes, but it's 300 days later, realistically. Even when the market tops actually here, it's 1,055 days if you look at the market pure top. So that's where we got a difference, where the leader of tokenization, which is obviously Ethereum, in terms of dominance, obviously, nothing's happened. That's where it's more fearful. And you've got to look at the news of, oh, well, there's ETFs now, Bitcoin. Cool. That's different. That makes it harder. And then you do start second guessing yourself. I openly say it, I'm attached to my Bitcoin. Why not? It makes sense to be because of where I am. But the reality is here, there will be altcoins that will fly and they will make a Bitcoin eventually, just the way it is. So yeah, the market always has cycles, and it's the other way around. When we're really, really high and everything's euphoric and crazy and everyone's going, left in cycles, we're never going to go below this number again. Just remember there's always cycles. Always remember that. Raul Paul still says we should expect a banana. Don't really like much of what he says, to be fair. Do you think we'll see VeChain hitting an all-time high? Probably not, no. I think its last cycle was ridiculously crazy. Remember, there's way too many coins, way much competition nowadays, so that will make it much harder. If you've not yet done so, please leave a like on the video. And if you've not yet done so, before I bugger off very soon, smash the YouTube subscribe button. Let's get the subscribers back up and running, because I am lagging massively behind, as you can see here. Catching up though, now that I'm doing daily live streams, it's starting to look a bit better. It's not look, oh, there we go. Oh, we're moving now, boys and girls. We're looking good. Looking good. So yeah, be interesting to see where we go in the next year or so with this market. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting time. I just don't want it to be a full-on Bitcoin season, personally. I want altcoins to have something. I want people to get some sort of reward. And that's the reality of it. Like, we can't just have it just being Bitcoin, because that doesn't really work. It works in a way, but it's just going to frighten people. Plus, everyone's perception of BTC is interesting. It's like, I'm not going to make any money, but if you flip it around and go, I'm going to save and keep money, you might actually make it. Please give us some good news and pump the markets. Yeah. Oh, you just retracted that one. Boo. Opinions on Nano or VET in terms of usage? Not really that interested in either of them, really. I mean, VeChain, yes, I like it, but I don't think I'd ever use it personally. I don't think I'd ever buy into it again. There's a lot of products there and a lot of partnerships, don't get me wrong, but Nano's pointless in my opinion. I think people underestimate and forget Bitcoin Lightning Network is probably still the fastest crypto out there. If you used it, it's amazing. Ethereum staking added to ETF might be the catalyst for alt season. Don't know. Maybe. I think one catalyst for the alt season could be the Bitcoin ecosystem. The thing with the Bitcoin ecosystem, there's a lot of opportunities of DeFi potentially with smart contracts. If Opcat gets, I don't know, enabled at some point in the next year or so, developers create a DeFi ecosystem around the Bitcoin ecosystem for the finality of Bitcoin. Strongest blockchain in the world, right? So that will allow people to move money onto it and feel, I know, that's a bit safer than, say, Solana or, say, Ethereum. But the biggest wealth is on Bitcoin. The likes of Michael Saylor and all the cronies will be like, I would like to make something on my money. Guess what? Money markets. What is the most stable cryptocurrency asset? Bitcoin. So there's the potential idea longer term. It's just not been developed yet. And it probably will get developed at some point. But we all know people like leverage and people over risk and things will blow up. So it probably won't work realistically. I've just ruined my entire idea by just saying that, but you get the idea, right? But yeah, Ethereum staking's an interesting one. It's not very luxurious, is it? And you've also got to think it's not really scarce. And you've got to think it's a bit hard to use because of the pain of it is. Guys, where is the bull run? Looks like it's past the dot rhyme with the current. You know something, the bull run in terms of Bitcoin is perfectly rhyming fine. For altcoins though, it's not. That's the situation where we're at right now. But what's interesting is 189 people voted, and 62% of you say pump. Should we go long? Should we go long? If anyone is interested, if you're in the UK, there's a link to Blowfin. You get some free monies if you do it. It's the only one that is open. I think you get a trading bonus. So everyone in this chat is saying we should go long. Whether that means we're going to make lots of money or not, I don't bloody know. So yeah. Anyways, I'm going to shoot. I appreciate all the love and all the likes. Make sure you hit the like before you leave, or you will get a very unhappy dog biting at your feet because it's not been fed. I'm joking, by the way. So yeah, enjoy. I'll be back on Friday. I don't think I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow, depending on what happens when I live. I think I've got a haircut during the live stream slot, so to speak. So yeah, we'll go from there.